Hi, I'm Shelley Maurer,
And I'm Cher Emmerich. Welcome to Life Lessons from Pickleball,
where we engage with pickleball players from around the world about life on and off the court.
Thanks for joining us. Welcome, everyone, to Life Lessons from Pickleball. We are so delighted to have with us Sara Weiss as our guest today. Sara, you are a two-time best-selling leadership education author, a high-performance success coach, and an international motivational speaker.
You are also a serial entrepreneur, a top leader in the network marketing industry, and a sponsored amateur pickleball champion.
You have had an amazing life journey, my friend, and I'd love for you to share some of your story with us.
Oh my, where do I begin? Yeah, I wear many hats. I've had a lot of different experiences in life. Coming from, a low income household, I kind of grew up with this like chip on my shoulder, and I wanted to like break the chains, and I wanted to do a bunch of big things. I had big dreams, as I guess many kids have. And I was very entrepreneurial. I was like the creative dreamer of my family. I had three younger sisters and my mom, who was a single mom for a good portion of my childhood. I felt very much like a protector of my family, and I wanted to do a lot with this opportunity at life. I really always seen, and I still to this day see life as such a gift, such a blessing. Like, I don't want to waste it. It's like every moment matters, and I want to make the most of every single bit of it. So I've done a lot. I've experienced a lot. I've, launched businesses at age 21. I bought my first house because I was working really hard landscaping. I just did whatever I could to kind of get ahead so I could make the most of each moment, while also having some fun, being very social, had my party days, where I'd get goofy and silly. And I've really grown to a place where I appreciate what I have and I love where I'm going. And I look back at everything that I've experienced, and it's all added up to this cool like cocktail of life. And it's so funny to me that I've landed in pickleball because that was the last place I thought I would go. I really, really never expected to be into sports. It was never really my jam. All my friends, I grew up in Canada, so it was like hockey, hockey, hockey. Everyone played hockey. They all went to the rinks and they all did the hockey thing. And that just never did it for me. But, I've been building businesses all my life. So I've gotten to this point where it's like, I go, 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 go. And then it's like, I don't really have this place to like just let loose. So like I used to go to the spa once a month. I would go to this like outdoor spa, and I would go into the hot tubs and the saunas and all that stuff. But I never had a place to like, I guess, release a different type of energy. So how I found pickleball was a friend of mine took me to a court to teach me tennis. So we had been driving by this public court that he thought was a tennis court, and he pulled me there, and he's like, this I don't think this is a tennis court. I don't know what it is. I mean, it looks like a tennis court, but I don't think it is. The net seems lower, the court seems smaller. I'm like, I have no idea. I just hit me the ball, see if I can hit it back. And I mean, I wasn't super coordinated. I liked going to the gym and doing yoga, so I had a level of like I was in good shape, but I wasn't like strong or anything. And we're hitting the ball, and he keeps saying, I don't think this is a tennis court. I don't know what it is. So we did end up leaving. He's scratching his head, and we went and did some research. We found out what it was. We found out at the time there was this like 14-year-old girl phenom player, Anna Lee Waters, obviously. So I looked at her and Ben Johns, and we're like, okay, so this is like a thing. There's people doing this like on a professional level. Like, should we try it? And I tried it. We got some cheapo paddles. And we just started hitting the ball, and there was like something instant about it that I was just like, "What is this? This is really cool." And I'll tell you, actually, 2 months before that, I was burning out. I was running three different businesses. I had created a very successful practice in life coaching, from relationships to business to happiness. Some people hired me just to help them learn how to be happy because they'd seen me go from rags to riches and be happy. And I was building that up. I was also doing crypto mining. I was mining a bunch of crypto. I was doing network marketing, and I was also launching my own certification program for coaches who were learning some of the techniques that I used. And I was creating a very innovative platform with a new website in a way that people could come onto the site and they could pay a monthly membership and get access to a bunch of different coaches. So it was like a big undertaking, and it was burning me the heck out.
Yeah.
It was a lot. While my kids are running around in the background of Zoom, I'm living on Zoom, and my kids are just living their lives behind me. And that drove me nuts. So one day I'm watching Netflix, and I think it was like, I don't know, 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So I sat down and I'm watching Netflix, and 15 minutes in, I'm getting this like anxiety. It's like, I need to be productive. I need to go get more clients. I need to help my current clients. I can't be sitting down. How dare I? I was like, I'm 33 years old. What do you mean, how dare I relax? That's not right. I did not like that moment. And I sat there. I was like, what's wrong? Like, I'm living in my purpose. I'm impacting people positively. My purpose is to serve, and I'm doing it at a high level. I've got the money, all the money I need. Life should be good right now. Like, I'm living in exactly what I've been trying to build. And I had to do this like deep soul search, like what's missing? Why do I feel this way? And the big answer that just came rushing to me was fun. Where's the fun?
Where's
Oh,
the
Where's the
joy?
fun?
oh,
So I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual, and I believe in my version of God. And I see and speak to God in my way.
yeah.
And I don't tell people what their God needs to be, but I have my version. And I prayed to God in that moment. I said, send me some fun. Something's not working here. Help me, guide me. I don't know what I'm doing to get to this point where I can feel good about what I'm doing. 2 months later, pickleball showed up, and I was like, thank you. Thank you. I know this is it. And oddly enough, I shut down my businesses, not my life coaching. I kept some of my clients, but I stopped building it. I shut it all down. Like, you know
Wow.
what? I want to have
Wow.
some fun now. So
Good
Wow.
for you.
for 3.5 years, I've been coaching remotely, coaching on court. Most of my clients are now just pickleball coach clients, even if it's remote. And that's been my focus: teaching pickleball, doing camps around North America, running around doing tournaments, and still coaching. Yeah, it's fun. So that's a little short nugget of my story. There's many little things in between, but yeah, that's where I'm at now.
Wow. And so your coaching for happiness just has one answer: get into pickleball.
Pretty now, yeah, it's very much more simple. Yeah. Pick up a paddle, a stupid wooden paddle or a hard paddle, and a stupid wiffle ball. Put those together, you're gonna live your dreams.
So much fun.
And now you're winning in tournaments, yeah? What level are you? What duper?
Yeah, so the duper score, that's like the big deal, eh? What's everybody's duper score? I remember when I first started, it was like, I got to find out what level I am. What am I playing at? So I started at low 3.0 and was not great. Took me a little while, but I became obsessed. I hired all the coaches and I worked really, really hard. I recorded all my games. I watched all the pros, and I had my certain. So I don't come from sports, but I do come from mindset. And I used a lot of my tools that I teach people and coach people to get good. And I moved up pretty quickly. So at the point I'm at now, I am playing pro qualifying events. And in Canada, I'm playing open events, which is basically the best of the best in the area. We'll get together, and I pretty much always get a silver or gold medal in open events in Canada. Here in the States, doing, depending on the event. So if it's like an APP or PPA, I'm still trying to get out of qualifiers. There is tons of talent. It's amazing. So I usually go 1 or 2 wins and then 2 losses and out. But you have to win more than 2 to get past qualifiers. So yeah, I would say like my duper is a 4.74, but my actual rating's probably closer to 5.5.
Wow. So isn't that pro? Isn't that the pro level?
Yeah,
So do you want to go pro?
totally, totally. Yeah. I mean, of all the like, so I'm 36 years old. I have a 9 and 11-year-old daughter, and it just
Oh,
seems so weird for me at this point in my life to be like, I want to go pro in pickleball, but like, it
heck
just
yeah.
it makes me so happy, and I don't want to let any like thoughts of I'm too old or I don't come from sports or whatever limiting disadvantage belief one could hold on to. I don't want anything to stop me from achieving something just super cool. I think it's so cool to be like a pickleball pro.
Yes, indeed.
Oh,
Now,
cool.
you have shared that you're transgender. Is that interfering with your ability to be pro?
Well, yeah, in ways yes, and in ways no. Only
Oh,
because so it's such a multifaceted conversation to talk about because for a long time, for most of my past 3.5 years, nobody knew that I had any different gender situation or past. But at the 2022 U.S. Open, because I do podcasts and I've written books, like there's information out there. I just don't, I'm not like screaming it from the rooftops because it's not really a defining factor about me.
yeah,
There's, like you said,
yeah,
there's so many things about me that define who I am. And that label is not one of them. It's just a
yeah.
piece of my past. So, anyways, I don't scream it from the rooftops, but I do talk about it once in a while. So I guess this group on Twitter called Icons Women, which is an anti-trans group. They literally
Oh,
all they post is about anti-trans stuff.
oh,
They promote that they're pro women, but it's really anti-trans. Anyways, they made a couple posts while I was at the 2022 US Open, saying this male is playing in the female division, and like made multiple posts, and they went like kind of viral, and it was vile viral. Like it was nasty,
oh,
nasty. And I was with a couple friends, and when I found the post, and I broke down. I was bawling. I was scared. I was very hurt and mainly scared to go back to the tournament again. And if anyone ever knows me or has ever met me at a tournament, I'm like a bubbly butterfly. I'm like, hi, everybody. I'm like, give me hugs. Like, I never experienced this kind of thing before. I never did tournaments and sporting stuff. So I'm in my mid 30s. And I'm like, this is so cool. Hi, everybody. I want to meet everybody and hug everybody. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to play. Let's go play some games. It's like a playground to me. And I go to I really wanted to go home. I didn't want to go back, but some friends of mine were like, that's not who you are. You're going to show up because that's what you do.
Oh,
And I did. And I walked, so like I could feel shivers. Like I walked into the front entrance and I was looking down. I was just like walking, looking down. I didn't want to look up. So like I'm ready to cry. Oh, it was scary. I didn't know if I would get accosted or if someone would, because again, nobody really knew at that point. But now it's out in the open. What's going to happen? I had no idea. I was very scared of what possibly could have happened. But I went anyways. And I instantly ran into a friend of mine who looked at me and was like, "Whoa, what's going on? What's going on?" Because like I wasn't like crying or anything, but I was like off. She could instantly tell because again, I'm like and I wasn't like that.
no
She
butterfly.
pulled me aside, asked me what was going on, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, like whoa, just okay, be strong." And she was like, she gave me this like pep talk, and I kept moving forward and deeper into the U.S. Open, and what happened was amazing. People would come up to me and they were like, we saw what's going on. We just want to say we've got your back. Don't you worry. We're watching out for you. Can I get a picture with you? And like a bunch of people wanted pictures with me and wanted to show me their support. Not one moment the rest of that week in that tournament did I experience anything negative. Not
Oh,
wow.
not a shred of it. The only thing I would say is that my mixed doubles partner, who I had already played a tournament in with and had stayed at his place during a Florida tournament, he backed out of being my partner. He had no idea until then.
oh,
And
for
he said,
heaven.
I don't want to be a cheater. So I'm
Oh,
backing out. But he had already played with me, and anyways, it was weird. But many people stood up and said, "I will gladly play with you." So I
oh,
instantly had a replacement, and I played the event, and it was amazing. I had not only just like regular people and new friends come up to me, but I had companies reach out to me on Facebook, say, "Come meet me at the tournament. We're going to give you some free swag. We're going to give you some T-shirts. We're going to give you." People were giving me things to just show me support. I found the owner of PB 1965 met with me and then connected me with who did he Kyle Yates. So I
oh,
became
yeah.
friends with Kyle Yates over this, and we've had many conversations, and we've done a couple things together. So it opened up a lot of doors. But then I had this like I went home and I was like, okay, so what am I going to do with this? You
Yeah.
know, do I talk about this? Like, because I've almost avidly avoided letting that becomes a defining factor for me. So it's not something
Sure.
that I like promote a lot. But I get home and I'm like, okay, do I talk about this? Do I go live? Do I make some videos? And I go, you know what? It's happening. So why not just go with it? And that's kind of how I live my life. And I did. I started to talk about it, and it kicked up a lot of dirt, a lot of
Mm.
people who had opinions about it, about trans women in sports and stuff like that, and it was intense. I spent at least a good 2 months doing almost daily lives, kind of keeping people in the loop of what was happening because there was a lot of progression in that, in what happened. The owners of the US Open reached out to me. They ended up adjusting their policies because of the situation, basically to make things clear and inclusive. And they wanted my assistance on doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, the owners of the U.S. Open were incredible. They're now friends of mine. I became good friends with Ken Herman, the owner of the APP. He's read my book. He's a big fan of mine. I'm a fan of his.
Oh,
He's super, super cool. So I've made some good friends in high places. In all the mess and the noise of all the haters, if you want to call them, the people who have very nasty opinions about it. I've met so many incredible, incredible people that I'm beyond blessed and grateful for. So,
wow.
has it created issues becoming a pro? Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, I've got a lot of good following and people who look out for me, respect me. But I also can only assume certain things. Like some people probably are worried about playing with me. I don't play very many women's doubles. It's first of all because it's hard to find a good women's doubles partner. But I think if you add that on top of it, I don't know how many people are hesitant to team up with me. I can
Hmm.
only guess.
Well, considering the response you got at the U.S. Open by all these people saying, "I'll do it. I'll be with you. I'll be your partner," the odds are you'll be good. I mean,
Yeah,
it'll. Wow, I'm delighted to hear that the U.S. Open is wanting to be inclusive. When you said they changed their policies and all, I wondered what that meant. So I'm glad that it was
it was
toward
a positive thing.
progress.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a positive thing. Well, I really appreciate you sharing all that. And I know that a lot of hearts are being touched right now. I know that, well, my bias is that the resistance is fear. And whenever fear is the thing that's in our minds or in our hearts, we're not usually making really good choices. So I love that the response that you got at the U.S. Open from all the
Yes.
fans and everything else was also positive. They weren't afraid. They get it. You're you. Um, Geez, it's like, yeah, like you said, it's a non-issue unless it's an issue for some people. But I appreciate you sharing your story because I know that it's touching a lot of hearts. That's kind of.
Oh,
yeah,
I have
yeah.
a beloved family member who has had the same journey, and he's amazing. And he's amazing. So I love that you're sharing your story. Shelly, say something. uh,
Oh, I'm feeling really emotional too, and I just am like think it's just now I'm gonna start crying.
yeah.
Just the support you got was just incredible.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful, and I've always coached people on through their challenges and their adversity and their mountains to climb, saying that they make you. That's what shapes you. That's what gives you
Yes.
strength. That's what
Yes.
teaches you, gives you wisdom, and before that happening, I had been a very successful coach, and no one had ever made it an issue because it wasn't sports. It's business and it's coaching, and there was no issue for anyone who did know, but many people didn't. But now that it's in sports, now it's a big thing. Now I got put through this, like, ringer, so to say, of adversity and people pushing back and calling me all the names in the book, and including demon, cheater,
Oh
like,
my
I mean,
gosh.
just a whole litany of different things. And it's like, okay, I coach people through this kind of stuff. Clearly, I'm being tested myself.
Good point.
How am I going to handle it? And how would I coach myself through this? And the big thing that I really wanted to hold on to was my integrity. I never wanted to lose sight of the fact that when someone has an opinion on me, it's their own. And
Yep.
that if they're, projecting their pains, it doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them a bad person to have an opinion that I don't share, and to have patience and grace. And many people have been like, I don't know why you have that kind of patience. It seems silly to me. I want to strangle them. And I don't want to strangle them. I feel like a sadness when someone projects this
Yep.
pain and this anger towards me, saying some of the most hurtful things I could ever hear. My heart hurts for them, and I don't
Yeah.
know how that sounds, but I truly am like, I wish you could feel the happiness and joy that I do.
Yeah. You know, I mean, what a life lesson this is, Sarah. Because think about, you had a choice that day. You could have left and not gone back in there. And look what you would have missed out on.
It was amazing.
Right. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So that is such a life lesson, to not let other people's fear affect us,
Well, the
right?
big
To
thing,
keep in tune to our own joy.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
Mhm.
the big thing I think is to always just show up. I mean, the fear is what stops us from showing up. And that's where
Yes.
the magic happens, is where you show up. And if I let that fear, because that's all it was, it wasn't even real. It's
Wasn't
social
even real.
media nonsense. You know, this whole
Exactly.
Right.
social media, it's like I could turn that into something and basically manifest it into something real, or I could just treat it as it was. It was just noise that had like nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
showed up, and it's so funny, there was nothing negative. It was
Wow.
imaginary. That's
Right.
that's what fear is. It's imaginary. It's not even real. So this fear shows up, and I had that choice. Do I show up, or do I let the fear scare me away? And I'm very, very glad, because I was close. I was very close to letting it scare me
Mhm.
away. Especially when safety is involved. That could be a
Yeah.
very dangerous situation. And in Florida, where there's a lot of anti-LGBTQ ideals and
Yeah.
policies and bills and stuff that are passed, which is
Jeez. So
unbelievable.
sad.
But
So sad.
that's
Unbelievable. Yeah.
it's another topic. But I showed up, and that's what I tell people to do. Just show up. Don't let the fear stop you from showing up. You never know what's going to happen, and especially when you know there's people who care for you there. And there were. And there were
And they were.
more that showed up too, because I showed up.
And your showing up wasn't even just for you. I mean, when you look back on it, you see how your showing up in that moment impacted so many people, even
Yeah.
people who might not have even thought about whether this was an issue or anything else, and they just love you and they just support you. And that is very moving.
And it's not like that's anything I set out for.
Of
Quite
course
the
not.
opposite. I really didn't want any kind of limelight or spotlight for that. But it's nice to know that me saying, yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to talk about it, knowing full well there's going to be consequences. There's going to be people who come at me. There's going to be people who, want to back out of being my partner. I knew that. And I did it anyways, not looking for any attention, but to find out that because I did that, it positively impacted people. It made it all very worth it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fact that you were so well equipped, having been a coach, like you said, and kind of helping people through their own hard times, you had this wonderful ability to find your own way through it. And obviously, with the help and love of your community and support, friends and family. Yeah. Wow. Very,
It's
very
not
cool.
easy. I mean, when people get challenged in this way, it's it's not that it's something that's easy to do, but it
Hmm.
is worth going through the mud, going through the stickiness, because it grows you. And I hope, if anything, I just show people that it is worth it, that it can be
Yeah.
done, that when you're faced with people who want to oppress you and kick you down, when you're faced with challenges that seem almost impossible to overcome, it is worth facing them. It's gonna be hard. I can promise you it will. It's not that it's gonna be easy, or that you might get lucky and it might, I don't know, you get some kind of lucky break or something. It's typically gonna be a challenge. You're gonna face all kinds of emotions. You're gonna feel hurt. You might get backstabbed. You might get sabotaged. I mean, all of these things can happen. But if you continue to move forward through it, God, you come out stronger on the other side. You come out smarter, wiser, stronger. You come out with people who respect you for doing the journey, people who appreciate you for showing that it's possible. And I promise you it is, especially if you reach out. Anyone who's watching, if you're facing something, I invite you to reach out to me. I'll tell you, I got your back. I'll love you no matter what.
Nice.
Hmm.
In fact, I'm really glad you said that. And we'll definitely give your website before we leave. But I also want to say, and anybody who's feeling angry and upset with this conversation, I just invite you to look at what that emotion is really about. because what we're talking about is just human beings who are living their lives. And if you, I know that there are some people for whom their religion says, "Oh, you're going to hell." I just hell. Let's think about whether that's really something to even consider. Because if God is love, God is love, God is love, God is love. That's it. That's it. That's it. At least in my experience, and you're demonstrating love. So bless you. And I hope that maybe this touches some hearts of people who thought, "Oh, that was not so good." Now I'm more open to it, and I see
I would
this
say
as
it's time
one.
to get
You know,
curious.
get
Get
Right.
curious.
curious.
Ask
Get
questions.
curious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Having, opinions is one thing, but, help expand your opinion by asking questions. Talk to someone
Right.
who's going through these things that you have judgment on and find out what it's really like. I could tell you all kinds of things that would probably be news to you. Like before I started transitioning with hormone replacement therapy, which was about 10 years ago now,
Uh huh.
before that, I could do about 75 push-ups. So here's make this very clear. There is a difference between men and women when it comes to strength and ability. When you go through a hormone replacement therapy, the amount it impacts you is mind blowing. I'll tell you from experience. I could do 75 push ups straight before 10 years ago. I, I think it was about a year into hormone replacement therapy, I could barely squeak out 10, and I still can barely do 10 push ups. And I go to the gym. I'm an athlete. It's a big difference. I actually gas out quicker than most of the cisgender women that I play against. My counterparts, they can outlast me in almost like 99% of the time. I'm gassing first, and I do cardio regularly. I play pickleball almost every day. There's actually studies you can look up that there are disadvantages in many athletic areas that transgender women have compared to cisgender women. So the whole advantage thing, do some research and you'll find out it's not what you think it is. So, I
Mhm.
mean, and there's so much more to it, but that conversation, it's not as productive when it's happening with me because I'm not a scientist and I'm not a doctor. I'm someone who's done research and I've gone through, and I can only give you what I've experienced. And I can tell you, I don't have the endurance and I don't have the strength or the speed that I used to have, not even close. And I've been trying to, so I've been playing for 3.5 years, and I've been at around a 5055 for the past year and a half. I promise you, I'm not dominating anybody. Nobody's getting dominated by Sara Weiss, if that's what you're thinking. Not happening. I have to work really, really hard, and it has more to do with my skills, my shot selection, my what do you call it? My soft game, my resets, my
Mm,
ability to stay
mm.
calm under pressure. Those things are what help me get better, not strength or speed. I would say endurance would be nice, but I don't have that. I'm still working on it. But yeah, it's interesting what you learn when you actually talk to someone who's going through it. So maybe ask some questions.
Ask
That's
some
good.
questions. Be curious. Be
Be
curious.
curious. Yeah.
So in this whole life of being in a home that didn't have very much, and then finding your way into all these businesses and having all the money you wanted, and then realizing there's no joy, and you found your joy, and all. So in all this, what are some of the life lessons other than what we've already shared right now that either you learned on the court that you've taken into your life, or you learned in life and you use them on the court?
Oh, there's many. There's many.
I
I,
dare
I
say.
consider myself a pickleball life coach at this point because, as a life coach, I would talk to people about their life. As a pickleball life coach, I talk about their pickleball game as it connects to life. And it
Awesome.
really does. One of the first things that I'll tell someone is how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Oh,
That's
say
included
some.
on the court.
What's that
So,
mean? Say more.
so if you are frustrated with playing with a weaker partner and you do the eye roll and the puffiness and you start to have this different attitude about you, if you do that on the court, you're doing that in life.
Hmm.
And
Oh.
I was doing that, and I'm like, who am I right now? Wow. And I taught this for many years. And I was like, oh, okay, so where in my life am I doing this? And I started to analyze, me with my clients, me with my family, me with my kids. and I would notice little places where I was like, I would get impatient and like
Mm.
treat them like, well, they should have a higher standard. I had higher standards for how they should be behaving and stuff. And it's like, oh, I'm doing that in
Mm.
life too. So at that point, so here's something you'll learn is when you find out you have a habit, as soon as you know it's a habit, then it becomes a choice.
Ah,
A habit turns into a choice once you're aware of it. I became aware of what I was doing in habit. I made a decision to change it. And you get to change it to whoever. So for me, I was like, I want to be a cheerleader for people. I want to be an empower. I mean, that's what I talk about. So when I get on the court, I will constantly cheer people on. I don't care at their level. I don't care if I want to win or whatever. And that changed in my whole life. So I started to do that, and it was reflected in how I was with my kids, how I was with my family, how I was with my friends, how I was with my clients.
Oh, wow.
awesome. Once you know it's a habit, it's a choice.
Yeah,
I
That
love that.
alone. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I love that.
Ooh.
powerful. Yeah.
Ooh.
Hmm.
So, what are the names of your books? Before we say goodbye, I want to promote the books.
Sure. I mean, my personal book, the first one I ever wrote was called Not Born This Way.
Hmm.
And the second one I co authored, it was 20 Powerful Women in Network Marketing. But I'm writing my second book, my second personal book,
Huh?
as we speak.
Huh? When will
And
it be ready?
I'm hoping by I'm aiming for next summer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
is it about pickleball?
There's going to be much more so in my first book there was no pickleball yet. So yeah,
Right.
there's going to be pickleball, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the stuff that I'm sharing with you, my experiences obviously at the 2022 US Open, the lessons I've learned going from life coach to pickleball life coach, and just kind of expanding on how things change in the my mid 30s, and just shifting into going from business and going I'm tired, I'm burnt, and going I want to do pickleball as a mom and traveling and all that stuff. So there's lots of good juicy stuff. My first book is extremely juicy. I've lived a very crazy life, lots of ups and downs, lots of uh, we'll say craziness. Not everything I did as a kid was legal. So I've learned a lot of lessons from some of the mistakes that I've made, and I've lived a spicy life, and it's led me to a lot of awareness on what truly brings someone joy, comfort, freedom, happiness. And I'm at a place now where I feel those things even amidst hard challenges. And I'm not going to say that I sit there like, no big deal. No, I get hurt and I feel the emotions, but I
Yeah.
accept them now. I don't resist them. I'm not like afraid of how it feels to hurt like I used to
Mm.
be. I would like avoid pain. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to feel anything to do with what's happening right now. So I'm just going to kind of turn a blind eye. No, now I'm like, it hurts. It's okay.
Mm.
I'm not
That's
good right now, but it's okay. And then I come
well,
out of it much sooner, much healthier and
yeah.
happier. So I get to talk about that now and the wisdom that I've taken. So I'm excited about it. The book is
That's
going to be
good.
called, you ready for this? It's
Yes.
going to
Yes.
be called WTF is Wrong with Me.
There you go. Love the title.
Oh, that's very cool. And so how can people find you and keep track of this book?
Yeah, so I literally just started writing it. So my Facebook people don't even know yet. I'm about to
Woo.
post. I was
Oh,
thinking about posting it today, and I haven't yet. But yeah, I'm going to be posting it on Facebook. Facebook's my big platform. That's where most of my followers
great.
are. So you can find me, Sara Weiss. I try to keep everything basically in my personal profile. So if you find me there, you can follow or friend me. I talk about everything I'm up to. I'm also launching this new digital e-commerce platform thing. So I'm back in business, baby. So
Wow.
yeah, something exciting fell on my lap, and I'm like, you know what? This is innovative, and I like innovation. It's very creative. So I'm helping businesses get more visibility, make more sales online. It's an online world. Everyone's already shopping and doing Amazon and stuff like that. And this is a
Yeah.
different way where a community gets to come together and is incentivized to drive traffic to business owners who sell digital and physical products. So that's very exciting too. Anyone who would like to be involved in that, you can definitely reach out. And always feel free to just chat with me. I like to chat with people,
Mm.
learn people's stories and backgrounds, and offer any bits of wisdom if I can.
So spell your name, Sara, and then
Sara Weiss is Weiss.
good, good. So
Yeah,
we'll all be following your journey and can't wait for that book.
me
Oh
too.
my
I'm
gosh.
excited.
Sara, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. You're so busy, and it's so great that you took time out to talk with us. And thank you for sharing your story, all of it, all the highs, the lows, and the in betweens. And thank you for sharing your heart. That's the most important thing. And you are just wide open hearted. I thank you for that.
It's an absolute honor. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share, ladies.
Thank
Oh,
you.
so great. And thank you all. Oh, I hope this has opened your hearts. And may we walk in joy and love and kindness. Goodbye, everybody. And we'll see you next week for a new conversation. Bye bye.
If you love our podcast, we'd be so grateful if you'd take a few seconds to follow or subscribe to Life Lessons from Pickleball. This ensures you'll never miss an episode and helps us continue these wonderful conversations.
On Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen, go to the show page and tap the follow button in the top right corner. And on YouTube, click the subscribe button under any of the episodes.
Thanks so much. Hope to see you on the court.